Welcome to Sales and Distribution Management, a course designed to help you develop essential skills for managing sales operations and distribution channels effectively. This program, developed by Dr. Jawad Sebaali, will equip you with the tools and strategies needed to optimize your sales processes and ensure your products reach the right customers efficiently. On this slide, we outline the key learning objectives for our training. By the end, you'll be able to clearly describe how a sales operation is structured and understand how distribution channels function. You'll also gain insight into the roles and responsibilities of sales managers at various levels within an organization. Additionally, we'll cover practical techniques for territory planning, channel selection, and setting effective sales targets. You'll learn to analyze real-world distribution challenges and develop evidence-based solutions. Most importantly, you'll build the judgment needed to align your sales strategy with both business goals and customer expectations. These objectives will equip you with a strong foundation to enhance your sales performance. Sales and distribution management is all about planning, directing, and controlling how a product or service moves from producer to the end customer. It's not just about hitting sales targets, but building a reliable system that consistently delivers results over time. This discipline covers everything from organizing your sales force and choosing the right channels, to setting targets and responding when performance doesn't meet expectations. Every decision you make here impacts revenue, customer satisfaction, and market share. Sales management focuses on organizing and evaluating the people and processes that generate revenue, while distribution management deals with selecting and managing the routes through which products reach customers. These two functions are deeply connected, because even the best sales efforts can fall flat without strong distribution. Distribution is often mistaken as just a back-office task, but it's actually a strategic asset that directly impacts your business success. How you deliver your product to market influences customer perception, pricing flexibility, and your ability to quickly meet demand changes. Even if you have an excellent product, using an inefficient distribution channel can hold you back, especially compared to competitors with better channels. That's why top executives prioritize distribution decisions as much as product or pricing strategies. To build an effective distribution strategy, you need to consider 4 key factors: your target market, product characteristics, cost structure, and competitive environment. Together, these will guide you in choosing the channel that delivers the best return. A distribution channel is essentially the path a product takes to reach the final buyer. Understanding the different types of channels is crucial because it helps you select the best structure for your market and product category. First, we have the direct channel, where the producer sells straight to the customer without any intermediaries. This is often seen in B2B markets and direct-to-consumer e-commerce. Then, there's the one-level channel, which includes one intermediary, usually a retailer, between the producer and the customer, common for consumer goods. Moving on, the 2-level channel involves both a wholesaler and a retailer before the product reaches the buyer, which is useful when wide geographic coverage is needed. Finally, the multi-level channel includes multiple intermediaries like agents, distributors, and retailers, often used in international markets or more complex distribution scenarios. Each channel type has its unique advantages depending on your distribution needs. When choosing the right channel structure, it's important to remember that there is no single best option. The choice depends on several variables that you need to evaluate carefully before investing resources in any particular route to market. Direct channels are usually favored when dealing with technical or complex products that require detailed explanation, or when you have a small number of large customers. They're also preferred when maintaining close customer relationships is crucial, or when a high unit value justifies the cost of a dedicated sales force. On the other hand, indirect channels work well when your customer base is widely spread geographically, or when you have many small customers. They also suit products that benefit from a physical retail presence in situations where cost pressures make it impractical to maintain your own sales infrastructure everywhere. In reality, many organizations adopt a hybrid approach, using direct sales for their largest accounts while leveraging indirect channels to reach smaller customers and remote areas. This balance helps optimize coverage and efficiency. A sales territory is basically a specific part of the market that's assigned to a salesperson or a team. Good territory design is crucial because it makes sure your whole market gets the right amount of attention, that workloads are balanced fairly across your team, and that travel time and costs stay manageable. On the flip side, poor territory design is a major and completely avoidable reason for uneven sales performance. For example, if one salesperson has to handle 3 times more customers than another, it can lead to burnout in one area and underperformance in another, which ultimately hurts your revenue. When you're setting up territories, it's important to look at the total market potential, where your current customers are concentrated, geographic boundaries, and how much each salesperson can realistically handle. And don't forget to review and adjust these assignments at least once a year, or whenever your market changes significantly. When setting sales targets, it's important to understand that a sales target is more than just a number. It's a specific, time-bound goal assigned to an individual salesperson, a team, or even a whole region. These targets serve 2 main purposes. First, they give your sales force clear direction, and second, they provide you with a benchmark to measure performance. Now, setting targets isn't about guessing high or low. If targets are set too high without solid market evidence, they can actually damage motivation and hurt your credibility. On the other hand, targets set too low won't push your team enough and can leave revenue opportunities untapped. The key is finding that sweet spot, the zone where the target demands real effort but remains truly achievable given the resources at hand. To do this effectively, you need to base your targets on solid market data, such as historical sales, market size, and what competitors are doing, to create a credible baseline before you factor in growth expectations. It's also important to involve your sales team in this process, because when salespeople help set the targets, they're more committed to reaching them, and their frontline insights often make your goals more accurate. Finally, remember that an annual target can feel abstract and overwhelming, so break it down into smaller monthly or quarterly milestones. This way, you can track progress closely and spot issues early before they grow into bigger problems. Sales management is really a continuous cycle, not just a one-time activity. Understanding each phase of this cycle is key to building a system that keeps improving over time instead of depending on occasional bursts of effort. It starts with planning your targets and resources, then moves to executing sales activities. After that, you monitor performance closely and adjust your strategies while coaching your team. This cycle runs nonstop, and the adjustments made in one phase directly improve the planning for the next. Managers who treat these steps as isolated tasks often end up reacting to problems rather than preventing them. Sales management functions at multiple levels, each with distinct roles and responsibilities, and it's crucial to understand these differences to avoid confusion and gaps in accountability. At the top, senior sales leaders are responsible for setting the overall sales strategy, defining channel priorities, allocating budgets, and ultimately being accountable for company-wide revenue performance. Moving down, regional or area managers take that strategy and translate it into specific territory plans, oversee team performance, and serve as a vital link between field sales and senior leadership. At the front line, salespeople focus on executing customer interactions, building strong relationships, responding to customer needs, and feeding valuable market intelligence back to their managers. Each level plays a unique, essential role in driving sales success. The quality of your sales team is the single biggest variable in your sales results. While products, pricing, and channel design all play a role, none of these can make up for a team that isn't well matched to your goals. When recruiting, it's important to go beyond just a resume. You want to understand how a candidate handles rejection, builds trust with strangers, manages their time, and reacts to feedback. These traits are often harder to spot in interviews, and even more difficult to teach than product knowledge. Once your team is in place, your role as a manager is critical. You need to provide clear direction, the right resources, and ongoing support. This includes regular one-on-one conversations, setting clear performance expectations, and giving timely feedback, both when things are going well and when they're not. Sales training is not something you do just once when someone joins a team. It's an ongoing responsibility that every sales manager must commit to. Why? Because markets evolve, products improve or change, and customer expectations shift. Your sales team skills and knowledge need to keep up with all of that. First, every salesperson must have solid product and market knowledge. They need to understand exactly what they're selling and who they're selling to. This forms the foundation for credible and trustworthy conversations with customers. Next, sales skills development is crucial. Techniques like prospecting, qualifying leads, presenting solutions, handling objections, and closing deals can't be learned once and forgotten. They require regular practice to stay sharp and effective. Finally, the most impactful training happens in the field. When a manager accompanies a salesperson on an actual customer call and then provides specific, real-time feedback, learning becomes immediate and highly relevant. This hands-on coaching can make all the difference in improving performance. When designing a sales compensation plan, it's crucial to remember that your plan is one of the most powerful management tools you have. It sends a clear message to your sales team about what you want them to focus on more effectively than any speech or memo could. For example, if your plan rewards volume at any margin, your team will naturally chase volume. But if it rewards profitable revenue, your team will prioritize margin. The most effective plans combine a secure base salary with a variable component that ties directly to measurable performance. The right balance depends on how much control each salesperson has over their results and the length of the sales cycle. And importantly, avoid making plans so complex that salespeople can't easily calculate their own earnings. When they can't see the direct link between their daily actions and their pay, the motivation behind the variable compensation just disappears. You cannot manage what you do not measure, but measuring the wrong things can be just as damaging. It's essential to focus on key metrics that truly drive sales performance rather than just the easiest numbers to track. Revenue versus target gives us a direct look at whether the team is hitting their goals. Pipeline coverage shows how much qualified opportunity we have compared to our targets, flagging potential shortfalls early. Win rate tells us what percentage of qualified opportunities actually close. So a drop here might mean problems with our offer or selling skills. Finally, customer retention measures repeat purchases and renewals, indicating if we're building strong, lasting relationships rather than one-off transactions. When you choose to sell through intermediaries, you're essentially relying on another organization to represent your product to customer. This relationship requires active management because a partner who is not well informed, not motivated, and not aligned with your standards simply won't perform, no matter how strong your product is. Effective channel management begins with selecting the right partners, those who already serve your target customers, have the capacity to handle your product, and share a compatible way of doing business. After selection, it's crucial to provide thorough onboarding, training, and ongoing support, ensuring they have a compelling reason to prioritize your product over others. Your goal is to make selling your product the easiest and most profitable option for them. Managing distributor relationships is all about collaboration with an independent business that resells your product through its network. Unlike a direct sales team, You can't simply tell distributors what to do. Instead, you have to manage the relationship carefully through clear agreements, incentives, support, and ongoing communication. First, having clear agreements is crucial. These should define territory rights, minimum purchase commitments, pricing policies, reporting requirements, and the terms for reviewing or ending the partnership. Next, regular business reviews are important. Meeting with key distributors periodically allows you to assess performance, share market insights, and plan future activities together. Support and training go hand in hand. Providing comprehensive product training, marketing materials, and sales support ensures your distributors feel confident and equipped to sell your product effectively. Finally, performance accountability matters. Hold your distributors to the targets you've agreed upon, but if results fall short, take the time to diagnose the reasons before making decisions on continuing the relationship. This thorough approach helps maintain strong, productive partnerships. When your product is sold through retail outlets, your influence at the point of sale becomes crucial to your success. Retail channel management involves everything from how your product is positioned on the shelf to how your brand message reaches the customer right when they're deciding what to buy. Key aspects include shelf placement and visibility, executing in-store promotions effectively, ensuring stock availability, and maintaining a strong relationship between your field sales team and the retailer or store manager. Taking this a step further, category management allows you to collaborate with retailers to optimize the entire product category, not just your own shelf space, making you a more valued and strategic partner in their business. Digital and e-commerce channels have become a crucial part of distribution for most businesses today. Whether you're selling through your own website, third-party platforms, or a mix of both, managing these channels brings unique challenges that require attention. On the opportunity side, digital channels give you direct access to your end customers and provide rich data on their purchasing behavior. They also enable lower transaction costs at scale and allow you to reach markets where physical distribution may be limited or costly. However, there are some important challenges to keep in mind. Channel conflict can arise if online prices undercut your physical retail partners. You also need to handle the cost and complexity of last-mile logistics and returns, while ensuring a consistent brand experience across all digital touchpoints. Effectively managing digital channels means close collaboration between sales, marketing, and logistics teams. This is not a standalone task, but an integral part of your overall channel strategy. The link between sales and supply chain is absolutely critical. A sales team that promises delivery cannot fulfill damages customer relationships faster than almost any other failure. So, the connection between sales operations and supply chain is not just a nice-to-have. It's a business necessity. Sales and operations planning, or S&OP, is a structured process that aligns sales forecasts with production and logistics capacity. The main goal here is to make sure what sales promises to customers is actually achievable given the current supply chain constraints. As a sales manager, your role is vital. Providing accurate and honest demand forecasts is key. Over-forecasting to build safety stock or under-forecasting to meet targets both harm the process and ultimately damage customer service. Getting this right ensures trust and smooth operations. Demand forecasting is all about estimating how much of a product customers will want to buy over a future period. Getting this right is crucial because good forecasting improves stock availability, reduces waste, and helps the supply chain plan efficiently. On the other hand, poor forecasting leads to stockouts, excess inventory, and unhappy customers. To do this effectively, start by gathering historical data. Look at actual sales history and identify patterns like seasonal peaks, promotional lifts, and long-term trends. Then, add market intelligence by incorporating insights from your sales team about upcoming promotions, new account wins, or potential losses. Next, Make sure to align your forecast with the supply chain by sharing it with logistics and production teams, ensuring it matches their capacity to deliver. Finally, review and update your forecast regularly because market conditions can change quickly, and outdated forecast becomes useless over time. Establish a routine to revisit and adjust your projections consistently. Customer Relationship Management, or CRM, is really about two things: the practice of managing how you interact with customers and the software that helps you do this. But it's important to remember that the discipline comes first. Without a clear strategy for engaging with customers, the software alone just generates data, not meaningful results. Good CRM means knowing who your most valuable customers are, understanding their business needs, and having a consistent way to stay connected with them over time. It also involves tracking every important interaction so that the organization keeps that knowledge even if a salesperson moves on. For sales managers, CRM data provides valuable insight into how your team is spending their time. If the data shows top salespeople focusing mostly on existing accounts and not enough on prospecting, that's a clear signal to take action and rebalance efforts. A CRM system is invaluable because it captures customer data, tracks interactions, manages the sales pipeline, and generates reports that help managers understand what's really happening in the field. But it's only effective if used well. Otherwise, it just becomes a tedious data entry task that the team dreads and avoids. First, define exactly what needs to be recorded. Be specific about the activities, contacts, and opportunities to log. Vague instructions lead to unreliable data. Next, make the system easy to use. If entering information takes longer than the actual work, your team will stop updating the CRM. So, invest in configuration and mobile access to minimize friction. Lastly, use the data to coach your team. In one-to-one meetings, review CRM insights not to police behavior, but to guide and support. Asking questions like, "I notice you haven't spoken with this account in 2 months. What's your plan?" turns data into a constructive coaching tool. Our sales pipeline is essentially a visual map of every active selling opportunity, organized by where each stands in the buying process. Managing this pipeline means understanding how much revenue is expected at each stage, how long deals typically take to close, and which opportunities are actually moving forward versus those that may be stalling. A healthy pipeline has a strong flow of opportunities in the early stages to replace those that will close, whether won or lost, in the current period. If the pipeline is loaded only with late-stage deals but thin at the top, it might feel good now, but sets us up for problems down the line. Sales forecasting then uses this pipeline data to predict how much revenue we can expect to close in a given time frame. Getting this prediction right is crucial. Over-forecasting can damage credibility with leadership, while under-forecasting means missing chances to invest and grow. Managing underperformance in your sales team is a challenge every manager will face at some point. How you handle it not only impacts the individual sales rep, but also sets the tone for the whole team watching you. First, always diagnose before you act. Underperformance can stem from unclear expectations, gaps in product knowledge, a poor territory fit, personal issues, or skill shortages. Identifying the real cause is crucial before deciding how to respond. Next, have a direct conversation early on. Waiting and hoping the issue resolves itself usually doesn't work. Approach the discussion clearly, focusing on the behavior and outcomes rather than the person, and avoid making it personal. Finally, provide a clear improvement plan. Set specific goals. Define a time frame and outline the support you'll offer. Be sure to explain the consequences if improvements aren't made. Put everything in writing and, importantly, follow through consistently. This approach helps create accountability and fosters growth within your team. Trade marketing focuses on driving sales through your channel partners and retail outlets, rather than marketing directly to consumers. This includes activities like promotions, point-of-sale materials, display placements, trade incentives, and collaborative business planning with retailers. The key to effective trade marketing is understanding what each channel partner values and how they measure success. For example, a large retail chain prioritizes category profit and customer traffic, while a smaller independent retailer focuses more on margin and simplicity. Keeping this in mind ensures your promotional offers resonate differently but effectively with each type of partner. It's also crucial to align your trade marketing investments with your top distribution priorities. Trying to spread resources too thin across all channels results in mediocre outcomes, whereas focusing where the return is highest leads to noticeable and meaningful results. When it comes to pricing strategy and distribution channels, one of the biggest challenges is managing pricing decisions across multiple channels. Every intermediary in the chain takes a margin, which means the price you set as a manufacturer or supplier directly impacts whether the product can be sold profitably at every stage. Channel pricing conflicts often occur when partners sell the same product at very different prices. This not only creates tension, but can also spark a race to the bottom, driving prices down and hurting everyone involved. To avoid this, it's crucial to maintain clear pricing policies and enforce them consistently to protect the overall health of your distribution channels. Managing channel conflict is crucial for maintaining strong relationships with your distribution partners and protecting your brand's reputation. Channel conflict happens when two or more partners compete for the same customers or sales. While some competition is inevitable in broad distribution, unmanaged conflict can severely damage partner trust and erode your brand's value. There are two main types of channel conflict: horizontal and vertical. Horizontal conflict occurs when partners at the same level, like two regional distributors, compete for the same accounts. This often results from unclear territory boundaries or when one partner expands beyond its agreed area. On the other hand, vertical conflict happens between partners at different levels, such as a manufacturer and a retailer, disagreeing over pricing, margins, or promotional duties. This type tends to be more common and more harmful. To keep conflict under control, the best approach is prevention. Establish clear agreements, maintain transparent pricing policies, and ensure regular communication with all your partners. Doing this helps build trust and keeps everyone aligned, minimizing conflicts before they start. Market penetration means increasing your sales within the markets you already serve. This involves helping your existing partners sell more, boosting product visibility, and increasing how often customers engage with your brand. On the other hand, channel expansion is about reaching new markets or customer segments by adding new routes to market. It's important to choose between these strategies by honestly assessing where your real growth opportunity lies. If your current channels aren't fully tapped, focusing on penetration first is key, because adding new channels too soon can be costly. However, channel expansion makes sense when current channels can't reach certain market segments, but it's essential to avoid creating competition between new and existing partners. Key account management, or KM, is all about dedicating focused resources and senior relationships to your most strategically important customers. These key accounts are usually those that contribute a significant portion of your revenue, promise long-term growth, or open doors to new markets or capabilities crucial to your business. First, it's essential to identify your true key accounts. Remember, not every large customer qualifies. Look at revenue, growth potential, and overall strategic value to decide which accounts deserve a dedicated manager. Next, assign dedicated account managers who act as a single point of contact with the authority to make decisions. Rotating contacts or sharing responsibility can weaken the relationship. Finally, collaborate closely with these key accounts to build a joint business plan. This creates mutual commitment and helps uncover opportunities early, ensuring a strong and productive partnership. Negotiation is something we deal with every day in sales and distribution management. Whether it's discussing terms and pricing with customers, working out margins and commitments with channel partners, or negotiating budgets and resources internally, it's all about finding the best possible outcome. Effective negotiation really starts with solid preparation. You need to know your own minimum acceptable outcome and have a good understanding of what the other side wants. It's also key to identify areas where there's room for creative solutions that benefit both parties. The main goal isn't to win at the other side's expense, because if a channel partner feels a loss, they might deprioritize your product. Likewise, customers who feel pressured into a deal are unlikely to come back. Agreements that feel fair to both sides tend to be more lasting and productive in the long run. When we talk about sales ethics and professional conduct, it's important to understand that the way your sales team behaves directly mirrors your organization's values. Ethical selling means being honest about what your product truly offers and never pushing customers into buying something that doesn't meet their needs. Confidentiality in relationships is equally crucial in distribution. Respecting agreements with channel partners is key. If a partner has invested time and resources in building your brand in a certain territory, taking that territory away without good reason not only risks legal trouble, but also harms your reputation. Since distribution networks tend to be close-knit, word spreads quickly about how you treat your partners. Ultimately, building a culture of ethical behavior starts with you as a leader. Your actions and what you allow set the tone for your entire team. Unilever's distribution model in emerging markets is a fascinating example of innovation in challenging environments. They recognize that traditional retail infrastructure was often lacking in rural and peri-urban areas across South and Southeast Asia, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. To overcome this, Unilever pioneered a last-mile distribution approach, which involved recruiting and training independent micro-entrepreneurs, mostly women, to sell products directly to households and small retailers. These entrepreneurs were supported with stock on consignment, basic business training, and dedicated sales representatives. This approach not only extended Unilever's reach into areas that conventional distribution could not effectively serve, but also empowered local communities economically. This case, well documented in credible sources like Harvard Business School, shows how thoughtful, inclusive strategies can create sustainable business models in emerging markets. The Unilever case offers valuable lessons that extend well beyond just emerging markets. One key takeaway is that channel design must match the market. Trying to apply a distribution model from one market directly to another without adapting it is a common mistake. For example, Unilever's micro-entrepreneur model was perfectly suited to the unique challenges of the market targeted, but it wouldn't be effective in a mature market with established retail systems. Another crucial point is that training creates capability where none existed before. Equipping your channel partners with the right skills isn't just an expense. It's an investment that enhances your distribution reach and improves the customer experience all along the chain. Finally, local relationships are fundamental. Unilever's success was partly due to maintaining direct contact with micro-entrepreneurs through dedicated sales reps. This local connection ensured accountability, provided support, and delivered real-time market insights. These lessons highlight how careful adaptation, investment in people, and maintaining close relationships can drive effective distribution strategies. Technology has truly transformed sales and distribution management, making advanced tools once exclusive to large multinationals now accessible even to mid-sized businesses. But the key is that technology only delivers value when it's aligned with a clear business objective and used consistently by the team. Take Salesforce automation, for example. These tools streamline routine tasks like logging activities, setting follow-up reminders, and generating proposals, so salespeople can focus more on engaging customers. Then there's route optimization software, which calculates the most efficient paths for field sales or delivery teams, cutting down travel time and costs. Inventory management systems give real-time visibility into stock levels throughout the distribution network, helping prevent both stockouts and excess inventory. And finally, analytics and reporting platforms provide real-time dashboards that let managers spot problems and opportunities immediately, rather than waiting for the end-of-month reports. Altogether, these technologies drive smarter, faster, and more effective sales and distribution operations. When we talk about data-driven decision-making in sales management, it's important to remember that this approach doesn't replace judgment and experience. Instead, it enhances them. Data shows you what is happening in your business, while your experience helps you understand why and decide the best course of action. A good place to start is by looking at the decisions you make regularly and considering what data could improve those choices. For example, asking which customers need the most attention this month, which territories aren't performing up to their potential, or which product are gaining or losing traction. Data helps answer these questions faster and more reliably than relying on intuition alone. To get the most out of data, build a habit of reviewing your key performance metrics regularly. Weekly reviews work well for operational details. Monthly check-ins are ideal for strategic decisions. And quarterly assessments help you see if your overall channel strategy is on track. This consistent approach keeps your decisions informed and effective. Understanding what your competitors are doing and how customers view alternatives to your product is essential for any sales manager. Competitive intelligence is not about spying. It's about collecting and analyzing information that's publicly available or observable in the market. Your sales team plays a crucial role here. They hear firsthand about competitor pricing, promotions, new product launches, and any service issues. It's important to set up a process to capture and share this intelligence systematically. Additionally, public sources like annual reports, press releases, trade publications, and industry analyst reports provide valuable insights without needing special access. Don't overlook your channel partners either. Distributors and retailers often have a perspective on competitor activities that your team might miss. So investing in those relationships can really enhance your competitive intelligence. Change is a constant in sales, whether it's new products, territories, or management shifts. How you lead your team through these changes can either hurt performance or become a chance to improve. People naturally resist change because it brings uncertainty and disrupts valued relationships. They may also be skeptical if past changes failed. As a manager, your role is to honestly acknowledge these concerns, communicate clearly about what is known and unknown, and provide strong support. Facing the challenge with honesty and clarity is what helps your team adapt and succeed. When we talk about building a high-performance sales culture, it's important to realize that culture isn't defined by what we say. It's defined by what we reward, tolerate, and most importantly, what we model every single day through our own behaviors. If a manager frequently cuts corners or misleads customers, the team will adopt those same behaviors, no matter what the official values claim. High-performing sales teams have clear expectations for what success looks like, celebrate real achievements without fake positivity, and deal with issues quickly and fairly. They also invest in developing every team member, not just the top performers. Building this kind of culture takes time and consistency. It can't be created overnight with a single team-building event or motivational talk. Instead, it's shaped by hundreds of small, consistent decisions that align with the values you want your team to embody. When it comes to distribution in regulated industries, you don't have complete freedom in choosing your channels or partners. Industries like pharmaceuticals, financial services, food and beverage, and alcohol all operate under strict legal and regulatory guidelines. These rules dictate not only which channels you can use, but also who you can partner with, and even what you can say during the sales process. If you're managing distribution in these sectors, it's critical to understand the specific regulations that apply to your activities and ensure that your partners comply as well. Importantly, this responsibility doesn't lie solely with your legal or compliance teams. As a sales and distribution manager, you are accountable for the entire channel's compliance. So, make sure you involve your compliance team early on when designing your channel strategy and incorporate compliance checks throughout your partner management process. This proactive approach helps protect your organization and ensures your distribution operates smoothly within regulatory boundaries. Today, we're focusing on sustainability and ethical sourcing within the distribution chain. It's clear that customers, investors, and regulators aren't just looking at the product anymore. They want to see the entire supply and distribution chain meet high environmental and social standards. For those of us managing sales and distribution, this means that every choice we make, from selecting logistics providers to packaging decisions and managing our channel partners, carries accountability. On the environmental side, we need to consider the carbon footprint of our distribution network, choose packaging materials carefully, and optimize logistics routes. Doing so not only helps reduce environmental impact, but can also lower costs. Social responsibility is equally critical. Ensuring that our partners follow fair labor practices is essential because any lapses can damage our reputation. Setting clear minimum standards and conducting regular audits are foundational steps in responsible management. Finally, governance and transparency play a crucial role. Customers and partners want to understand how decisions are made and how issues get resolved. Being open builds trust and helps prevent conflicts from escalating. Together, these elements help us build a responsible, sustainable distribution chain that meets today's expectations. When selling across national borders, several complex factors come into play that can impact your sales and distribution management. Currency fluctuations can change your pricing dynamics unexpectedly, while customs regulations dictate what products can be shipped and under what conditions. On top of that, cultural differences influence how customers make purchasing decisions and how channel partners prefer to operate. Before entering a new international market, it's essential to conduct a thorough market assessment. This means understanding the size and accessibility of the opportunity, the regulatory environment, the competitive landscape, and the infrastructure for distribution. Don't rely solely on enthusiasm from a potential partner as proof of market potential. Choosing the right distribution partner is also crucial. Local knowledge and established relationships matter a lot because navigating regulatory requirements, trade structures, and customer preferences typically requires someone deeply familiar with the local market. Building resilience in your distribution network is crucial because a network that works well under normal conditions but fails under pressure can become a major liability. Events like supplier disruptions, natural disasters, logistics breakdowns, and sudden demand spikes have revealed how fragile distribution systems can be when they're designed solely for efficiency without any backup. First, you need to map your dependencies. It's important to identify any single points of failure, whether that's relying on just one logistics provider, a single warehouse, or one manufacturing source for a critical component. These are risks that can seriously disrupt your operation and must be addressed. Next, build in redundancy where the risk is high. This could mean dual sourcing key inputs, maintaining relationships with backup logistics partners, or holding strategic safety stock of your most important products. These steps help reduce your vulnerability and ensure smoother operations when unexpected problems arise. Finally, test your contingency plans regularly. A plan that's never been tested is really just an assumption. By running exercises and simulations, you can confirm that your backup systems actually function as intended when you need them most. This ongoing testing is essential for maintaining a truly resilient distribution network. Sales enablement plays a crucial role in helping sales teams succeed by providing them with the right resources, tools, training, and information. It acts as a bridge between the marketing materials created and what salespeople actually use when they're out in the field. Imagine a salesperson going into a meeting without really understanding the customer's business, or lacking the right materials to back up their points, or not being ready to handle common objections. That puts them at a serious disadvantage. Sales enablement systematically removes those obstacles. Importantly, it's not about just creating more content, since sales teams often have more information than they can use. Instead, it's about delivering the right content in the right format, making sure the team knows it's available, and giving them the chance to practice using it confidently before they engage with customers. This approach ensures salespeople are equipped to have better conversations and ultimately close more deals. When handling objections in sales, it's important to remember that an objection is not a rejection. Instead, it's a signal that the customer needs more information or isn't fully convinced yet. Treating objections as problems to overcome rather than questions to answer is a common mistake. First, always listen without interrupting. Let the customer fully express their concern before you respond. Interrupting can make it seem like you're waiting to speak instead of truly listening. Next, acknowledge the concern by confirming you understand it. Simple phrases like, "That's a fair concern," or "I understand why you want to be sure about that," show respect and build trust. Finally, respond with evidence. Use specific examples, data, or references from other customers rather than broad assurances. Saying, "We have had that concern raised before, and here's what our customers in similar situations have found," is far more effective than simply saying, "I can assure you it won't be a problem." When we talk about customer segmentation for sales planning, the key idea is that not all customers are equally valuable or require the same approach. By grouping customers based on shared traits, we can tailor our sales efforts more effectively. This means allocating our best resources, like our most experienced salespeople and relationship building time, to our highest value segment, Segment A. Meanwhile, segments like D can be handled more efficiently, often through lower cost channels. So we free up time and energy for opportunities that really matter. This targeted strategy ensures we're maximizing our sales potential across the board. Across this training, we've explored the key principles, tools, and practices that define effective sales and distribution management. Now, let's summarize what this looks like in a real business setting. First, channel design is a strategic decision. The way you route your product to market directly impacts your costs, customer relationships, and competitive position. So it deserves as much focus as pricing or product development. Next, people are the engine of your sales strategy. The capability, motivation, and behavior of your sales team determine how well everything else plays out in the market. So continuous investment in them is crucial. Also, data should inform but not replace judgment. Use performance data to ask better questions and speed up decisions, but always combine it with your market knowledge and experience. Finally, relationships in the channel are valuable assets. Treat your channel partners with the same care as customers, because strong partnerships provide resilience, insights, and execution power that you simply can't build alone. Thank you for completing this training on sales and distribution management. The concepts and practices we covered form the foundation of effective commercial execution. But the real work begins when you apply these ideas in your daily responsibilities. I hope you leave with a clearer understanding of how sales operations and distribution channels work together, and with at least one or two specific actions you plan to take differently moving forward. Remember, learning that stays in a room rarely changes outcomes. It's the learning you apply that makes the difference. Keep asking questions, seek practical experience, and continue building on what you've started here. Sustained study and reflective practice are key to success in sales and distribution management. Keep learning and growing. On this slide, we have a comprehensive list of references that underpin the research and insights presented throughout. The academic sources include foundational marketing texts like Kotler and Keller's Marketing Management and Coughlin and colleagues' marketing channels, which provide in-depth theoretical frameworks. We also highlight Prahlad's influential work on market opportunities at the base of the pyramid, emphasizing strategies for emerging markets, alongside Jobber and Lancaster's expertise on sales management. Additionally, we draw on valuable corporate and institutional sources, such as Unilever's annual and sustainability reports, which offer real-world examples and data. Harvard Business School case materials further enrich our understanding of distribution strategies in these markets. It's important to note that some specific identifiers like DOI or ISBN numbers were not included where verification wasn't possible, encouraging readers to consult original editions through libraries or publishers for exact references. I want to emphasize that this content is intended solely for training purposes and internal use. Please use it with caution, as there may be errors within the material. The author does not take responsibility for any decisions or actions based on this information. It's important to apply your professional judgment when using any of the strategies or techniques discussed. Also, this presentation is not a replacement for specialized legal or professional advice. For complex legal or regulatory matters, always consult qualified experts. Finally, while we've made efforts to ensure the content's reliability, no guarantees are made regarding its completeness or accuracy.